Our country is going through a turbulent time. So we couldn't have had a better period to have a conversation on human rights and public interest litigation. In summary, the legal profession in Nigeria must be asked one pertinent question. Whose interest is it serving? Is it public interest or a different interest? I believe it is serving public interest, but more has to be done. More has to be done. So I want to use this medium to appeal to the bench in particular to be circumspect in giving decisions that are seen or perceived to be anti-public interest. A situation where you go to court, you file an action to articulate an issue of public interest, and the court looks at you as the meddlesome interloper. In fact, now we see a trend where punitive fines are being imposed on lawyers who file public interest cases. This is unacceptable. We must also speak clearly to what looks like a departure from what is supposed to be the ideal of fundamental right enforcement. The books are there. We have avalanche of laws to promote the enforcement of human rights in our country. But those of us who are on the field, we know what the experience has been. You file an application seeking to secure the release of somebody in detention. You'll be surprised that we even have that matter assigned. You have to deal with a lot. By the time it's heard to have the order to serve, it is also a problem. So let us begin to appeal to those that have the actual power to comply with these principles of human rights. Thank you.
Thank you very much for making this possible and plaque. I see that the Honorable Supreme Court Judge has probably left. Otherwise, I wanted him to know that what he said about public participation in politics, which he said is a very important right when he started his commentary, would need his attention, because one of the things that is happening in Nigeria right now is that there's what we know as lawfare as opposed to warfare, that they are using the law to wage against public participation in democracy. And a lot of these issues are going to come before the Supreme Court very soon from those who have been muzzled by the government in power to prevent them from participating in democracy through their various parties who want to participate, but the courts have been strategically placed to prevent them from participating in the next election. One of the things I love about this is that I'm always a victim of lawfare. And when I was given the book, I took a copy of the book, I looked at the parts where you could actually file for bail, because I'm always in police stations trying to get bailed out of prison. And it's very important that you've done this. When I was growing up, I used to love a book they call Where There Is No Doctor. And to me, this is like where there is no lawyer, so that you can defend yourself. One of the things I hate most, and I've seen that before my lawyers here, is when my rights are violated by judges and the lawyers stand up and say, "At my lordship pleases." You can't be pleased when your client is being sent to jail, having not committed an offense. And one of the lawyers who is prosecuting me in the case between me and Tinubu, when I called him a criminal, he always shouts in court, you say, "We wrote AJA. We wrote AJA." That is the Administration of Criminal Justice. I said, if you wrote AJA, how can it be in the favor of people like us? It is like King James writing his own version of the Bible. It will favor only King James. We need, and you have done this, for an AGJA that is not written by senior advocates of Nigeria, but those of us who are the receiving end of human rights violation. One of the things I want to say last is that beyond just these issues of filing for immediate bail and getting justice, we must also do a book about historical justice, injustice that have been done against people who are consistently having their human rights violated in this country. I am looking forward to a day where a former DSS DG can go to prison for sending somebody to jail maybe 30 years ago, after he has forgotten that he did that. And that is one of the things that happened recently when Britain and others who engaged in slavery were told that that's the worst crime against humanity and they must pay for it. Nigeria must design that, and I hope this historical justice thing will also be of interest to PLAC and those of us who are here who practice human rights, because the people who violate people's rights in this country just walk away, they retire, and we forgive them and forget them. But the time must come when we don't allow them to rest in peace as they wish they would do. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sowore. If you have